Welcome, Illumineers! Today we're going to dissect one of the 7 original cards from Disney's new TCG Lorcana. We'll be looking at Maleficent, Monstrous Dragon. But first things first, just in case it wasn't obvious, I need to make the obligatory statement that everything in this video is speculation. The rules for this game have not been released. So let's get to it! Right away, we see Maleficent has the highest attack number we've seen so far, a towering 7. For perspective, currently the average card attack is 3.3, so Maleficent stands at more than double. And Maleficent's defense of 5 is the highest defense number we've seen as well, though it ties with both Mickey and Stitch. That is greater than the current card average of 3.9. What also stands out is that Maleficent is the only card in the game so far that has a higher attack than defense. All the other cards either tie or have a higher defensive value. I should say, seeing attack and defense numbers surprised me a bit, as one of the early announcements was that Lorcana was going to pull back from PvP confrontation and de-emphasize crushing your opponent. The attack and defense stats suggest it will remain a pretty important part of the game. But of course, it's too early to get judgmental here. We don't know what we don't know. Now let's talk about tags. Tags, for those of you who are unfamiliar, are just descriptive words on cards which usually have a game effect. Maleficent has the villain tag, which we're assuming possibly places her in a villain faction. And she has the Storyborn tag, which may also be a faction. This may, for example, govern which cards she can be paired with. We know of 3 Born tags so far: Story, Dream, and Flood. For example, Cruella and Robin Hood are the only other Storyborn characters we know so far. Maleficent also has the Dragon tag, and it's unclear whether that has any game effect. It is likely it's a traditional gaming keyword, meaning we'll later see cards that affect dragon cards, such as a knight who does bonus damage against dragons, etc. But absent a rule printed on a card, it will be essentially meaningless. These kinds of tags are usually great game design. They help eliminate learning curve to the game. You get to ignore the rules and lessen until they actually become significant to the specific game you are playing. We also see that Maleficent's ink is red. One of the predominant fan theories in the community right now is that the game's primary resource is going to be called ink, and there will be different colors of it. Both Maleficent and Mickey have the red ink with a specific associated symbol, so we know that, interestingly, heroes and villains can share ink. Next, we see that Maleficent has a single ability. We see that all character cards either have 1 or 2 abilities so far. Maleficent's single ability, Dragonfire, appears pretty powerful, but it's hard to gauge. I interpret it as a one-time use ability. When Maleficent enters the game, it wipes off one of your opponent's characters. But could play instead mean every time you activate the Maleficent? Meaning this is something you can do over and over? Interestingly, we know when Cruella gets banished, she has an ability to return. So we're already starting to see some cards potentially interact, which is quite fun. The next stat is the number in the upper left-hand corner of the card, a whopping 9. This is largely anticipated to be the card's cost. The theory being that's how many points you have to expend during deck creation to include the character in your deck. 9 is the largest we've seen in the game so far, the lowest being 2. So yeah, it sounds like Maleficent is a great card, but also a pricey one. Maybe I'd rather have 3 Elsas, each costing 3 points apiece. Lastly, on the right side of the card are the 2 marks which the fan community generally refers to as diamonds. And this is quite possibly the largest Lorcana mystery right now. What are these diamonds? What we do know is that so far all cards range from 1 to 4 diamonds, and Maleficent is a 2. So one community theory is that diamonds are a victory point mechanic, i.e. you need to accumulate a certain number of diamonds to win the game. If true, Maleficent gets you very little compared to more cost-effective characters, and this represents a significant drawback. Remember that 9 points of Elsa? That gets you 3 diamonds. And for 8 points of Cruella, you can get 4 diamonds. The theory is that Maleficent helps you banish or remove your opponent's diamonds very quickly, and so that is the trade-off. So it sounds like Maleficent is going to be a high-risk, high-reward type of card, and I look forward to learning how it plays out in practice. Well, thanks for joining me on this journey, and I hope you'll come by and check out some of the other cards as we analyze them.